best of them, tougher than leather. You can call me Knuckles. Unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle. I'd rather flex my muscles. I'm hard as nails. It ain't hard to tell. I break them down whether they solid or frail. Unlike the rest, I'm independent since my first breath. First test, feel the right, then the worst left. Born on an island.
Knuckles in 0.2 has to be one of the best characters right now. His matchups against the killers are really good, except one of his mediocre matchups, we'll say. On top of all of that, he only has one bad map, and that's not even due to him being bad on it, it's just due to the geometry of the map. Anyway, this video will cover Knuckles' abilities, passives, strats with Knuckles, and his good and bad matchups. Knuckles' first ability is Punch. This will put you in a defensive stance, slowing you down immensely and causing you to briefly flash red sometimes when the user clicks M1, R2, or RT depending on what control scheme you use. In this state, Knuckles will lunge forward extremely fast. After hitting or not hitting the punch, the move will be put on a 24-second cooldown. If an executioner comes into contact with him, they will be stunned for 5 seconds. This ability is able to increase the stun time of executioners who have already been stunned, which means you can hit while they are stunned, pretty much stun stacking, because Knuckles' ability. Now make sure to hit them before they get unstunned, because you can't stack stun if they are outlined in red because of the iframes. You can only do it between the time after someone stuns and the executioner being able to get back up with the red outline on them. Knuckles can charge his punch further into 2 phases. In phase 2, he will flash red with a distinctive sound, and his punch will stun the executioner for about 6 seconds. In phase 3, his fist will catch on fire and his punch will give the executioner the burning effect. Don't expect the flames to do much though, unless you're facing an HP centered killer. Most of the time, the flames go away after the stun is completed. Now, when you are charging, you take about 64% less damage. This, for example, 2011X does, to my knowledge, 45 damage a hit. While holding your punch, he will do about 16 damage to you. Finally, if Knuckles uses this ability while charging up his punch mid-air, he will instead do a ground slam variant, which ragdolls the executioner on top of the regular stun. Do note though, when using this, the flames from phase 3 won't be applied to the executioner in this variant. Another thing is that you can trigger the ground slam variant while gliding. The next ability is Counter. Knuckles stops in place and goes into a combative stance for about 3 seconds. During this, he will flash white. If an executioner happens to hit him during this period, they will be stunned for 5 seconds and knocked back. Note that this can be used while holding punch and even carries over the effects of the other 2 phases with them. Yes, even the fire from phase 3. Punch will not go on CD if using counter while charging, meaning you can charge, counter, then punch. If you land this stun, it will be put on a 24-second cooldown. If missed, it will be put on a 29-second cooldown. Keep in mind that you can use this ability whilst gliding to avoid any sudden ambushes, as well as being able to cling to walls and glide whilst using the ability, allowing you to escape if you miss. For Knuckles' first passive, it is Glide. Whenever Knuckles jumps onto a wall, he will cling onto it. Assuming the wall is high enough, jumping off the wall in this state will cause Knuckles to glide for around 4 seconds. Similar to Tails, he will begin to descend. Unlike Tails, however, he moves faster, has no energy bar, and can't ascend through any means. Knuckles can chain this gliding passive. This cannot be done infinitely though. After around 3 wall clings, you cannot glide and will just fall onto the ground. Now, that's Knuckles' only passive, but we'll get into his LMS buffs real quick to fit out this section. Knuckles doesn't get anything during LMS except one thing. He will receive a massive 50% damage reduction to all damage. This is extremely good, especially when you consider this 50% can be stacked with punch to get a total of around 84% damage reduction from all types of damage. This is insanely good if you know how to use this character, and helps him win most of his matchups, even his unfavorable ones. Knuckles' matchup against 2011X is mostly the same. Just sit there and stall for a bit, condition counters, and bait out obvious 2011 things like charge or invis. Not much else in the way of changing that. However, be more cautious, the recent 2011 buffs have given him more damage. Knuckles' best matchup, in my opinion, is Colossus. Anything you can think of Colossus can do, Knuckles can bat away with no worries. If he charges at you, counter. If he grabs you, hold punch to take a single digit damage. M1s you, just hold punch again to reduce the damage. On top of that, if Colossus counters, that doesn't even matter to you. The ground slam variant of punch bypasses counter completely. Literally everything on Colossus's kit can be countered by Knuckles. He is essential in defeating Colossus. Now, Knuckles' worst matchup in my opinion is Tripwire. She can dodge punch just by double jumping over it. Counter only works against her M1 and not the laser or tether or trip mine abilities. And the only good thing about this is that if you do come across yourself on a trip mine, hold punch ASAP. This allows you to negate most of the damage done and will not unstance you if you use punch to get out of it. The move won't be used and be put on an around 6-second cooldown due to the trip mine causing the shock effect. Other than that, this is a bad matchup for him, and won't end super well for Knuckles if he doesn't stick with his team. Now for some Tecs you can do as Knuckles. If you want a speed boost without compromising your HP, you can hold punch and tank a hit from the Executioner after getting hit. Cancel punch, and you'll get a speed boost without taking lots of damage. This is good for stalling or just getting out of a really bad area. Another thing you can do is counter while holding punch. I know we already went over this, but let me get to why this can be good, and in fact might save your life if put in this situation. When holding punch, you get that damage resistance as stated earlier. What you can do is hold punch and bait out a few M1s, tanking them. Then when the Executioner doesn't expect it, counter to take them off guard. This allows you to get a stun and still have punch afterwards. This is only really good when helping a team by stalling, because doing this to help yourself causes you to take damage, which could be bad depending on your current HP. Another thing that I can tell you is if Colossus uses counter, then it doesn't matter to you. Again, your slam variant can bypass his counter, which is absolutely insane and just proves that this is his best matchup currently. Finally, the last thing I can think of is when you're using punch, if you want to have more mobility, but also want to keep holding punch, then use glide to your advantage. Using glide while using punch does not slow you down, so you can use this to get to your team faster if you're in that situation. Well, that was surely a lot of info. Sorry for the big yap session. I just wanted to make sure I had all the info I could compile. To wrap things up, Knuckles is a really good survivor in Outcome Memories, as of the making of this video. He can be super oppressive to 2 out of the 3 killers, and that 3rd killer can still get pieced up if you're patient as Knuckles. He can help the team and stall for a long time by himself. If I've missed anything that you guys seem important, please tell me. I've only recently picked up the character and wanted to make a guide video on him, since I see a few bad Knuckles out there when I play as Metal or something. Anyway, with that all out of the way, thank you all for watching. This is Tower signing out. Peace.